Welcome to the Maureen Pound Show, where we get extraordinary insights from cool business people. Today, I'll be speaking with Steve Gherkin from Staged Homes, who's going to be sharing with us how to make an extra 50K when we sell our home from just one phone call. He's going to be sharing lots of great insights on the key tips on making sure that you present your house in a way that attracts buyers and connects emotionally with them. So welcome, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Maureen. Thanks for having me.
I always like to start off by asking, so we get a bit of people get a feel for you. Can you share something that's quirky or interesting about you, or something that we may not know?
Where do I start? So something that's quirky and interesting. So yes, I work in the staging industry and have a business in the staging industry, which we'll find out about soon. But my background is actually managing call centers, and I'm also a fitness instructor. So I teach spin classes, so cycle, RPM, as other people know. It's a bit of a hobby of mine.
Cool. So it sounds like you're very well-rounded.
Yeah, busy and well-rounded.
With either way you look at it. So tell me about what is staging?
So staging's I guess we call it a craft. So staging's about how you present a home for sale using furniture to emotionally connect buyers to the home, so that people will pay more for the home essentially when you're selling. But also help you sell faster. So, when people find something that they love, the fear of missing out kicks in, and we often sell faster and for more money.
Okay, great. And so you talked about, connecting emotionally with the buyer. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'd ask you to think about, when you bought your own home, sort of think about, the emotions that run through your decision-making process. So, when people are out looking for their next family home, or it might be their first home, or they might be downsizing to something smaller. So everyone's got a story. So there's a reason why somebody is selling and buying, or buying for the first time. So it's that process, that purchasing process of somebody making a decision to invest in what can often be one of the largest assets that somebody will ever own or acquire within their lifetime, which is as property. So, when people are buyers are out and they're looking at 10 houses in a weekend, for 4 or 5 weekends in a row, they're looking at 50 to 100, different types of homes. The thing that people connect to is the emotional aspect of, what is it going to look and feel like for me to live in this particular property? So people, yes, they're walking in looking at the walls and they're looking at the outside of the property, but really what they're thinking about is, can I see myself living here? And we all know in the buying world, a lot of people are always prepared to pay more for something they love. So ask people to sort of think back to when they purchased their own property, about what sort of things really stood out for them in that property. Was it the space of the property? Or was it the design or the architecture of the property that really connected them? Was it the area that was really important? But even within a suburb, and you go and see 10 or 20 houses, whenever somebody gets home from a weekend of open for inspections, you sit on the couch and you go, what just happened? I've seen 20 houses. I've seen so many kitchens, so many bathrooms, and so many, bedrooms. But there's always 1 or 2 properties that always float to the top of your mind, which is the ones that you walked into and you just got that feeling. You just go, I could really like what this place, it feels light, or it feels open. And they're the ones that keep percolating around in their mind and sort of bubble up and become the preference. When a home is presented well for sale, it allows people to really see themselves living in there. Yeah. So, and it's that emotional connection that people, you can't get that house out of your mind. And then when you start talking about price and how much to pay, people are always prepared to pay more most of the time. Like, and we're talking about general terms here. So most of the time, people will always pay more for something they really love. It's really easy in real estate to get another $50,000-$60,000 out of someone during the sale process. Just because it's easy to rationalize. You go, well, we've looked at 20, I'm exhausted, I don't want to look at it anymore. I really love this place. I can see the kids running around in the backyard. I love that big family area. It just feels so warm and cozy. So it's really then it's that easy to go, okay, well, yeah, we're paying a little bit more, but I can see us there for another 5 or 10 years. So when you break $60,000 over 10 years, $6,000 extra a year, it's not really that much, to pay more for a house that you really love.
Yeah. Awesome. And what fascinates me is, or I'm curious about, is that people have different tastes.
Yes.
And so how do you, and yet you want to connect with them emotionally. Are there any tricks that people can do that ensure that it's going to connect to most people emotionally? Or do you say, no, we're going to go for this sort of person?
Yeah, for sure. So in the staging world, we look at the suburb itself. So what sort of price point are we aiming at? And then we look at the typical demographic that buys in that suburb. So is it a first home buyer's suburb, where it's usually traditionally sort of younger families or couples buying into the market? So in those particular suburbs, we might choose a really younger style to appeal to that younger market. So there might be a little bit more lighter wood tones in the furnishing, and there might be a little bit more color in some of the soft furnishings, and just appealing to a younger audience. Whereas you go to a different type of suburb, and I'll just use one. Sorry, just lost you there.
That's all right.
Yeah. So I'll take you to, like, in Melbourne here, we've got other different styles of suburbs. So, you've got places like, let's call it like suburb like Doncaster. So, larger homes, they're usually grand on scale, and they really love things like marble and gold finishes in their fit out. So, we really look at the nuances of the house itself when we come in to do a quote and we come in to detail the property. And all we're trying to do is really enhance the features that the home already has, and also then thinking about the buyer market that we need it to appeal to. And from that, we're able to then choose a style that will choose as what we want to stage it as. So younger, usually more color. A professional market might have more elegant, expensive looking furniture. Large family homes, we want to break it down. So you might have some rooms which are more formal. So you often, you'd have your formal lounge or your formal dining, but then you find another zone in the house like a family area, and you really want to tone it down and make it a little bit more fun and cozy and casual. So even within a home, even if you choose a style in one room, we can often add an additional sort of style into the actual home itself, in different zones. That way, staging is really trying to appeal to the broadest market to get the most people through the home and the property. So when we think about the real estate photos, we really, 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 really want to have a really broad audience base when we're picking and selecting furniture for that particular home, but it needs to complement the actual style of the home.
Excellent. And what sort of furniture is a must? Because to me, it's like if you're going to stage, there could be so much staging. Do you do pictures, on the walls? Does every couch have to have a throw? Do you do the study as well, like your whole home, or what are the non-negotiables?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. So in our business, and what we find works most effectively is start with your artwork. So artwork is absolutely key for us. So we can pull out colors or tones in a piece of art, and then we can thread that through the furniture style. And also, so for example, black framed art with a little bit of black running through it. We can bring in sort of black-legged furniture, black-legged coffee tables. We can bring in black pinstripe sort of cushioning, or something with a bit of pattern in it with a little bit of black in it. So your art starts to create your story for you, and all you're doing is drawing out those colors and tones and threading it through the rest of the room. And that's how we find building a room that feels really connected when doing staging. And carrying that through the house as well. So once you've really nailed your sort of key living areas with the artworks, then carrying that through into secondary bedrooms is a real skill and craft. Also, what's really key is looking at how many bedrooms are in a house, and then trying to work out that there's enough seating ratios for, such as dining tables to dining chairs. So, in a 4-bedroom home, you probably want to try and get an 8-seater dining table into the dining area. And if you can't do that and you've got 2 dining areas, you might have a 6-seater and then a small meals area and another one. So also within family rooms as well, making sure there's enough seating. So for example, we, in like a 4-bedroom home, is that you wouldn't have a 2.5-seater couch and 1 armchair and a lounge. You really need to be able to show that you could at least sit 4 if not 6 people in that room, to make sure that it's well balanced from that perspective. So there's some of the sort of non-negotiables that we do, and some of the key things.
Great. And then what are some added extras if I went, no, just go all out? Steve, I want to get, an extra 50 to 100K on my home. I really want you to just work your magic.
Yes.
What sort of extra things could you do for me?
Yeah, sure. So we have sort of, when we do staging and we do our quoting, we sort of do what we call like middle of the market. So that's where you're going to get everything that you need to get great photos and to look and feel good when you walk through. But if you absolutely want to nail it, then let us know, because we can always zhuzh it up a little bit more. And we do that by, and for example, in bedrooms, we'll put rugs under the end of the bed. So that makes it feel more luxurious, and it feels more expensive by putting rugs down under the ends of beds. We can add in additional artwork into secondary spaces. So when you're walking through a house, it's almost a little bit like a gallery. So you kind of get this drawn through the home. Consoles and mirrors are terrific additional furnishings that can really help just show the length and space of a room by having a bed and a gap, and then you have your console, and then a mirror above it to reflect back all your bedding and all your wonderful cushions and artwork. So it can just make it really pop and make it feel way more luxurious. And again, that just adds into that perception of a home that feels more expensive.
Excellent. And would you recommend that people do it, say I've got investment properties, if I decided to sell an investment property as well, meaning, if people are buying for investment, do they still get caught up in that emotional stuff as well, or you wouldn't waste your money?
Yeah, great question. And I'll probably answer this in 2 different ways, because I am a property investor myself. So I have my own rental properties. And we also service a large proportion of our customer base are investors. So the best thing as an investor, what you're trying to do on your way out of owning your investment property, is to maximize your sale price. Because yes, you might have had rent coming in and paying the mortgage for a number of years, but if you want to earn an extra $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 at the sale end of the property, investing and staging is just such a great way to maximize the sale price and get it sold quickly. And you can plan it as well, because you always know when your tenants are going to vacate. You get a quick clean done, and then you get the furniture and staging in, and then get your photos done. So we work with a lot of property managers and real estate agencies. So we're just one step in the chain of process that they have to get a property from an investor rental to on market for sale in probably less than, say, 3 to 5 days. And as an investor, that's so key, because cash flow is king. So once your rent stops coming in from your tenant, and then you need to turn that property around really quickly, get it on market and get it sold, because most people will have a mortgage on the property. Getting it staged is one of the cheapest and fastest ways you can do a renovation without ever having to touch a paintbrush and or replace carpets and or replace blinds and drapery. So for one phone call, you can literally get a whole house full of furniture put in, which takes, one of the key things about staging is it takes the eye off the imperfections of the property. So you might have your tenant vacate and you're looking at the marks, scuff marks on the walls, the odd sort of coffee stain on the floor here and there, nicks and scratches and skirting boards. There might be a cracked tile or 2 in the bathroom. But by the time you put furniture in, people don't see that anymore. They're too busy looking at the furniture, being drawn into the experience of floating through the home, that they don't sort of pick up on those nuances that, you know, as a property that's has no furniture in it at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, so as an exit strategy, it's probably one of the best things a property investor could do when selling their property.
Excellent.
Mm.
And this is a bit left field as well. So there's a glut of properties at the moment, of rentals just sitting there. That especially in the, you know, like say this Melbourne CBD, for instance, with it, with
Yep.
the, you know, no more international students, etc.
Yes.
So would you recommend staging to get a renter in, or do you think, you know, is that something you do, or any advice you can give to people to stage to try and get tenants?
Yeah, we do a little bit of that. Again, it comes back to that investor mindset. If you want a really great tenant and get a premium price, then investing a little bit of money into the marketing and the setup of that can get you a really great long-term tenant at a higher rental rate per week. So we do custom packages for investors where the furniture will go in for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, so they can get their professional photos done, so they stand out in a rental market. Much better than somebody who takes their own photos on their iPhone with the previous tenant's furniture in it, you know, with no lights on and all the blinds are down. So, you know, it doesn't make for a very appealing rental. But, you know, when we're putting additional lamps in, putting really beautiful artwork, you know, rugs to lighten up spaces, you know, and visually people can see, you know, a couch, a coffee table, an entertainment unit. You create space between them and the place can look so much bigger than what it really is. So you can get more people to your rental inspections. And again, that's sort of fear of missing out in rentals as well in a competitive market. When you've got lots of people coming through, people start to say, look, I really love that property. I'll pay you another $20 a week above your asking price just to secure it. But in a market like Melbourne at the moment, where, you know, there's so many empty units, you know, renters have got a choice. They can, you know, they're going in and out of homes, apartments, and there's just so many exactly the same looking apartments, nothing to differentiate them. But once you've got furnishings in there, again, it's that emotional feeling that they go, oh, I really love the way this place feels. I can see myself living here. And that's, again, you know, can help you secure a tenant a lot quicker than competing in a slow market.
Yeah. And it sounds like when they move in too, they can, you know what the possibilities are for them as tenants to, you know, buy some furniture for themselves.
100%. We get that question quite a lot. So when we are, you know, staging homes or dressing homes to sell, we often get the incoming buyer says, look, I really love the furniture. Can we buy it? And, you know, that's a real compliment to what we do. But we do know that the way we lay things out and the way that things are set up and the way things are coordinated really connects to people. So we can set up packages. We can do what we call a style to stay service. So if that's something somebody wants, we can assign them a interior stylist to help source the product brand new. And then we can get it delivered and set up. And it doesn't have to all be at once. It can be over time as well.
Yeah. That sounds great. And the other thing I love about this is that there's an immediate, when I say immediate, in the very short term return on investment. So, so when you're trying to sell your house and you can, like, you don't even, actually, I think I'll be more direct. So how does the pricing work in terms of, do you get paid straight up? Can it come out of the sale price? Like, what are the options for people if they say, I don't really want to, try and stage it myself. I want Steve and his team to weave their magic. Mm-hmm. What are the options for people?
Yeah, sure. So it's a really simple process, starting just from a quote. And once you approve that quote, then everything else is done for you. The payment side of things, to give you just a ballpark estimate on pricing. So however many bedrooms there are, add 2 zeros to it, or 3 zeros to it, I should say. So if it's 2-bedroom, you're probably looking at $2,000 to $2,500 to stage it for a sale campaign. And if it's 3 bedrooms, say $3,000 to $3,500 for 3 bedrooms. If it's 4 bedrooms, probably $4,000 to $4,500 would be a really good estimate on how much it would cost to do the staging. Look, 90% of the industry, it's payment up front, because all our work is done in the lead up to the install. So it's the picking, packing, selecting in the warehouse, a team of 4 to 5 staff attending site to set it all up, hang artwork, unwrap furniture, style it, steam the beds, do all of that work to make it look amazing. So all the work is done up front. So that's most businesses are pay before install. We do offer pay later options. So if people, for some reason, particularly in things like such as divorce or financial issues where people are being forced out of their homes by the banks, etc., they don't always have that amount of cash to throw at it. So we just ask that they let us know what they are, and we usually can come up with some sort of payment plan. So it might be something like $500 deposit, and then split over however many weeks that suits the vendor. In extreme cases as well, we will do a payment at settlement. So that works well for investors. That's usually one really popular one because they don't have revenue coming in when the tenant's out, but we've got a guaranteed sale at the end that they are selling. So in those situations, we'll do a payment at settlement. So we'll just stay in touch with them until it's sold and then take payment at the other end.
Right. I was actually surprised because I thought it would be so much more. So are you saying like a 2-bedroom house, you could get it done for $2,500?
Yep. Just on 2 bedrooms, one maybe open plan living dining, and a very small outdoor area. That would get you sort of $2,500. If it's complicated access as well, so things like stairs, lifts, elevators, then there might be another sort of slight premium on that because of the time taken for the team to install. But yeah, most of the time, most of our quotes, even in the bigger family homes, are sort of around your $5,000 and below. And when you start getting into some really premium suburbs, though, your pricing does go up because the quality of furniture needs to go up to match that demographic. So, for example, maybe a 4 or 5 bedroom home in Ringwood may cost you, $5,000 to get staged. But if you did a 4 or 5 bedroom home in Doncaster, you might be looking at $6,500. So we do have to take into account the quality of the furniture going in and just what that expense is.
And then I've just got a question where the person has asked us whether you can purchase the home with the furniture already installed, but you covered that off before, didn't you? That is an option, isn't it?
Yeah. For us, our furniture is like any tradesperson. We think of ourselves more as like a trade. So our furniture are our tools of the trade. So we know how to use the cushions with the artworks, with the coffee tables, with the rugs, and all the combinations that we've bought our stock and collection that work together. So over time, you can't buy those items or replace those items. So, we always want to hold on to them because they're our tools of the trade. But with our style to stay service, we're happy to have somebody work alongside a homeowner. And if we can source brand new the same items, we'll order them in, from our wholesalers, and that can take time. Or we can get stuff immediately, by helping them find the right stuff retail. So we do. So you just pay for time to work with a stylist and do the consultation. We'll map out what like a mood board looks like, so we understand the style that you're looking for. And then really it's about how quickly you make your decisions once we start proposing, well, let's work with this combination, that combination, and then we can help source the furniture.
Okay, excellent. So I've just got a question from Andrea Green. Thanks, Andrea. Steve, she's asking if you cover Geelong as well.
I would love to cover Geelong. At this point in time, we do not. But you can reach out to me. I do have a great stylist down staging, lady down that way who's got her own business down in Colac. So I'm happy to put you in touch with her. But yeah, look, we are looking to grow and expand, so it is on the radar.
Okay, excellent. So with that in mind, Steve, where do you cover? What areas at the moment?
Yeah, cool. So we're based in the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne, a place called Ferntree Gully. That's where our warehouse is. And we've chosen that location because it's easy to get to major freeways from there. But we service Bayside, outer eastern, inner eastern, northeastern suburbs of Melbourne. And we will go to the west side of the city if it's for a real estate agent that we do a lot of work for, or it's a vendor that we've done work for in the past. So it just means that we do have to price it up a little bit more because of the distance to travel. But we are looking to set up our second warehouse to service that side of the city. So we will hope to have coverage across the whole of Melbourne, hopefully by mid-year.
Excellent, excellent. Any plans to extend interstate?
Not at this point in time, no. It's a logistically challenging, operational heavy environment, and you've got to do it right. So, for us, our most important thing is our reputation, and we wouldn't want to go out and expand too quickly. But at the same time, we're always growing. And there's so never say never.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of return on investment,
Yes.
if I had a 4-bedroom house in Hawthorn in Melbourne,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent $5,000 with you, so what sort of return on investment can I get, do you think, from me not staging as versus staging?
Yeah, sure. So staging done well, and there is fast and furious out there, so we call them. But we're more of a mid to upper tier staging company, so we have quality and standards that we adhere to. So for $5,000, we would at the very minimum expect that you'd get 50, if not $100,000 uplift in value in a suburb like Hawthorn. And we've got many recommendations and endorsements from our clients who have said, we think it got another 100, 150, 200,000 when you're talking at selling a property in the 1.5, $2.5 million bracket. So we know it works. So your investment, there's nothing quite like it. So put $5,000 in, and then 8 weeks later, 12 weeks later, you take back out $50, $100, $150,000. It's a pretty good investment.
I know. I think it's amazing. My sister did it in Essendon, and I was a bit of a non-believer a few years ago, and she had it staged, and I really think she got at least another $100,000. It was just amazing.
Yeah, and in Essendon, it's so achievable. Like, it just really is. And those people that go out in the open for inspections, and 1 in 10 houses is staged. The one that they remember and the one that they usually love and the one that they pay more for is often the one that's presented the best. So, staging helps to achieve that.
Excellent. And so what is the first step in getting the ball rolling if anyone's interested in working with you?
Yeah, sure. So they can visit our website at www.stagedhomes.com.au and Google us as well, and read through our Google reviews to see what our clients say about us. But on our website, we do explain our services. So we stage for vacant properties. It's probably the ones that we love the most. And then we also do mix and match. So some people have already got some furniture. We do staging, so we can come and advise you and what can stay, and then we'll complement that by bringing in additional items of furniture to bring it all together. And we also have mix and match occupied homes, so where people are living in the homes. They're the most challenging ones, because staging is for display purposes only, and it's not for living with. So we always have to take that into consideration about how many people are living in the home, pets and animals. So sometimes we can't stage those ones. Or there might be some limitations, so we can't put soft furnishings in. We might only be able to do things like artwork and repositioning of existing furniture. Yeah. We also do consultation, so that's paid 1.5 hours with one of our team, and they can help tell you where to reposition your furniture to, and repurpose things from different rooms to when you're preparing your home for sale, if you've already got really lovely stuff. So, and that our website does explain all of that. And you can also see our gallery on the website, so you can see our actual furniture and rooms that we've set up. And also jump on Instagram at Staged Homes Melbourne, and Facebook and Staged Homes. So a lot of our more current stages are kept updated on there very regularly.
Okay, great. So if I'm a visual person, or you really want to get a feel for what it means, you can actually go on and have a look at some that have been previously staged.
That's right. And our website and our social media platforms is all 100% our own staging and our own furniture and our own work. Just recommendation, if anybody is shopping around getting 3 quotes, always do your research, read your Google reviews, make sure you get on their social media sites and see when their most recent updates were, and just check out that their website matches what's going on their social media platform, because you can buy really amazing photos these days, but it doesn't mean that's what you're going to get.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Steve. It's been amazing talking to you. I think you're a great guy anyway, but you're just so passionate about what you do, and you're just a classy person. And so I can imagine that you make, all the houses look brilliant. So if anyone's watching today and is looking at selling their home and wants to get, an extra 50, 100, 150K for it, and have been thinking of staging or want to know more, then contact Steve at Staged Homes. So any final parting words, Steve, from you around staging your home?
We have one saying, and that is, once you've staged, you'll never not stage again. 100%.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Yep. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you, Maureen. A pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So if you'd like to see more interviews with amazing business owners sharing extraordinary insights, click subscribe, then click the bell button, then click all, and we'll notify you.